Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute, where we're throwing strikes and getting likes, hitting dingers, and getting listeners. Back again with another podcast. It is the long-awaited return of the Miller Park Minute. I know you guys have been missing the show. Thank you so much for those of you who reach out to me and chat with me on a daily basis. I appreciate it. I am back in the same old studio. Ignore the mess behind me. We are just getting started with the new season. We took a good hiatus here. Just restarting, redetermining where we're going in the direction. I think sometimes it's important in life to take a step back, take 10 steps back, 8 steps back, whatever you want to call it, and get back into things. So today's show, we're going to talk about the Milwaukee Brewers season so far. We're going to re-up some predictions. I apologize if my glasses are crooked. Unfortunately, they are a broken 10-year-old pair. That is all I have left. My contacts ran out. So that being said, let's get into this episode and get into this show. As always, guys, we are Brewers Fanatic members. We love the Brewer Fanatic page. It's good to thank you, Hardcore Henry, for that comment. I love it. We are getting ready to ramp up here, and there's going to be a lot more content. BrewersFanatic.com is a great fan website. I produce video content for them. They are a presenting sponsor. We are also sponsored by SeatGeek. Miller Park Minute is the code, $20 off your first order with SeatGeek. If you haven't already used SeatGeek, go on over there and get some tickets for $20 off. That any ticket you want. Baseball, basketball, whatever it may be. The show is going to be presented pretty much daily. We are going to upload to all of the same platforms. I'm not going to list them off. I'm not back in the full swing of this show yet, so we'll save some wind. You can go over to the patreon.com/MillerParkMinute. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate each and every one of you. And like I said, I appreciate the people who reached out when I wasn't here and who have still chatted baseball with me. I got the Miller Park Minute Fantasy Baseball League going every day, and I am not off to a good start in that. So it is what it is at this point, guys. But that being said, let's get into this crew so far this season. It's kind of been it's been good that I haven't been doing, because there's a lot to talk about and a lot of content that I have yet to cover this season because of the long break. So 11-6 record, sitting atop the NL Central with a couple other teams, the Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates, which the Pittsburgh Pirates are that team that they always like to be in the beginning of the season. They begin to start out hot, and more power to it. We'll wait for their meltdown, I guess. Cubs are sticking right there with us. So, and then the Reds, and of course the Cardinals. The Cardinals starting in dead last is a new phenomenon over the last 2 years. Do I think it's going to be permanent? I don't quite know yet. I really don't. At this juncture, I don't foresee that happening, but who knows? Did they make enough adjustments to that crew? It really the main focus of today's episode and what I want to get into is kind of what they've done with this roster and what we've seen so far in the 2024 season. Just a whole lot of interest across the board. I think the first thing I'm going to talk about here is Christian Yelich. Christian Yelich came out this season, and we all him and haw, and we don't know what to expect out of Christian Yelich. We all want him to be the MVP, but that doesn't mean he is going to be the MVP of old. And I know he just landed on the IL yesterday. I'm not behind in the news or anything like that, but I think when you get a healthy Christian Yelich and a Christian Yelich playing at this point that he has in the 2024 season so far, with 39 at-bats, 7 runs, 13 hits, 5 homers, 11 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases, batting .333 and a 422 OBP and a 1.116 OPS. I think that goes without saying that we need to talk about that. That's an important thing, especially being that he has kind of become that veteran. He's the big name player on the team, and I know there's a lot of people that hate him, and I have hated on him at plenty of junctures along the way. So I'm not going to say I'm remiss and I'm without. But I think that is an important piece to this lineup. Now, the other things that I think are key at this juncture are the young guys that are getting a second year of experience. We're seeing a lot better player out of Bryce Turang. Bryce Turang is a guy that I really liked coming into last season. I still really like coming into this season. I think he is kind of one of those guys that was plugged in, did the best he could last year, and now he's kind of learning on the fly. He is really, really coming on. He's batting .327 with .367 and an .822 OPS. Goes without saying that is huge. That is super important considering, just how he finished up the 2023 season, batting .218, .285. I mean, when you make that kind of growth year over year, and they talk about the muscle and they talk about the work that these guys put in, and I think that's important right now when we're looking at a team who kind of had uncertainty. If I go back, and do I have the sheet is the question. No, I don't. I don't think I have the 2024 prediction sitting here. I did a 2024 predictions episode, which we're going to revisit. No, I don't. It's okay. You did a lot of these names weren't expected. They weren't expected to be doing a whole lot, and I think that goes without saying that it's hugely important that you see like a guy like Bryce Turang step up. Another piece that has stepped up in the wake of the Christian Yelich absence is Blake Perkins. Blake Perkins is currently batting .324, 390 OBP, and an .876 OPS. He has been huge right now. It's good to see. There's going to be a bevy of players that are going to come up and come down with this Christian Yelich injury. I think we just saw Owen Miller get slotted on to the roster. It looks like, he maybe has 2 at-bats. One or is it at-bats? Oh, against the Padres yesterday. I guess I missed that part of the game. Wasn't paying enough attention. If you're in the chat, or if you guys are watching this video, leave a like, leave a comment down below. I appreciate everyone who comes and watches. So the Wisconsin guy is back. It's kind of just a feel-good story. We like those Wisconsin guys unless their name ends with council, I guess. I'll get into that in a different subject later down the road. We'll talk about a little bit about that. But I think that's what we're going to see. We're not getting the consistencies of starting pitching. We're going to see more offense this season. Freddie has been tremendous. DL Hall has actually started similar to how Corbin Burns started when he was the starter. I know that's hard to hear and hard to see because we want him to be that comparable to what we lost in the trade, but at the same point in time, he's still young. He's still prospect level. So we'll see. The jury's out on him yet. I don't think we have an answer on him yet. Abner has been great. Gets a little roughed up here. He's a young guy, so let's give him a break. He's these bullpen pieces are really doing what they were meant to do. I mean, we're not far off from where we should be. Joe Ross the other night got beat up, a couple bloop singles. That's what you're going to get when you've got guys like this on the roster. Wade Miley didn't have a good outing last night. Those things are what they are. We just got to keep going and hope that our hitting can get us out of a. Before it was the pitching had to get us through these games. Now we're on the shoes on the other foot, and we're worried about the hitting getting us through these games. It really just comes down to the dynamic of where the Milwaukee Brewers are with the amount of money that they choose to spend. Being that small market team, they aren't spending the money. They aren't putting the money in. I think I've made mention of this, and I'm going to just clear the air on it and say it one more time. Unfortunately, Trevor Bauer has been blacklisted by the Major League Baseball. We aren't going to see him. I wish we would, but it isn't going to happen, even on the minor league minimal level rookie deal that he wants to sign for. I think that his name is just tainted. If you want to wait and see, he is going to be suing MLB because no one is hiring him, and quite frankly, he should get some kind of job at a minimum level contract. But here's something I want to highlight too across the board. The old guard is kind of back in place across the league, and I find this kind of interesting because if you look at baseball year in and year out, we're going to move off the team for a second and scroll right back. But I wanted to talk about this because I think this is important. If you look year over year across baseball, you kind of see similar teams rising through the top and being top level teams, right? So the Braves are going to be the Braves. The Dodgers are going to be the Dodgers. The Yankees are now back to being the Yankees. It took a little finessing Juan Soto acquisition. And Baltimore's coming up. That division is tough across the board. I mean, every team is in the positive for wins there. There's nobody with a losing record in that division. So it's a tough division. But if you look at the AL Central, Cleveland's on top over there. And then you've got Texas on top in the AL West. Houston is in last place, where our friend Josh Hader is below Oakland. That's a weird thing to say. That's very weird. So I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that because I think it's interesting to see the shifts of, like, with the exception of our division with St. Louis, the standard teams are at the top. Now is the Milwaukee Brewers the new standard team because we've done a lot of winning over this, Mark Antonaccio tenure? I don't know that. I mean, I think we always come in and, it's fan bases. I'm going to say this about fan bases. The Brewers fan base's loudest voices are going to be its most negative voices. And that goes the same across the board, whether it's Packers, Bucks, anybody. We're always going to have that loud fan base of negatives, and that's going to be, if you're a Yankees fan, if you're a Dodgers fan, I watch Dodgers games and I watch a lot of other baseball teams as well. And whenever you go into conversations on the internet, on X, of these teams and of this game, you're going to find those people that just live in that, and nothing is good enough. Believe it or not, as unhappy as we are with the moves that the Brewers make, there are people that are unhappy with the moves that the Dodgers make. And that's crazy to think about because that's a team that just went out and spent all that money on Shohei Ohtani. They got Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. They got everybody. And there's still anger there. So I think that's one of the things in hindsight you have to look at. Just kind of wild. It's a wild game, and I think historically we have not been one of the top teams, and now that we're more in the conversations, you look at the power rankings across the board. I talked about the power rankings a lot last year. And one of the things that I said when I talked about the power rankings is how we would rise and then we'd fall, and it's a matter of how the team plays and how year after year we have risen up in skill. We have fine-tuned parts of the game. The bullpen is really our strength and really our strong suit. Today is a perfect example. We had 5 pitchers go out there and throw a shutout. And we had a great starting rotation, but with Woody's injury and then letting Woody go and then re-signing him, and then Corbin Burns getting traded, which we all knew was going to happen because he's a Boris client. That's where the rotation has changed. Wade Miley comes back, but Wade Miley is a guy that you get the baseball that you can out of him. You're not going to get all the good baseball. You're going to get the best that he's got left. And I think that's something we need to know. You sign guys like Joe Ross, who are kind of bargain starters, because that's what we can spend money on, quote unquote. And I think that's key and that's crucial. I'm not faulting the organization. I mean, I do fault them at times, but right now I'm not. We're going to have positive baseball chat this year. This is going to be me talking positive about baseball. I mean, I will talk negative at times, but I watch other podcasts and I listen to other people talk in the Milwaukee sphere, and there's a lot of great voices out there. Shout out to everyone who's ever come on the show and been a part of it with me. But one of the things that drives me the most nuts about this realm is how bad the media is. The media just eats this up, and there's not enough positivity and people talking and just enjoying the game. And I think that's one of the things that we're going to change. It's going to be a more scripted show, a more direct show. Day in and day out, I will do my best to improve. Lay out the studio, the audio, the sound quality. Everything is changing in 2024. And it's only going to get better from here. It really is, guys. Just like our team. I mean, offensively, we were nothing a year ago. Like, one of my biggest things from 2024 to or from 2023 to 2024 that I laughed about was, everyone complained day in and day out. If you were a fan in a Facebook group or a Twitter fan of the Milwaukee Brewers, or didn't follow the games though, you would have thought we were in last place by the way people talked about how we played offensively. And we won the division. So I find that really funny, to stand atop the National League Central. Actually, a couple days ago, we were the top team in the NL. So it's all hindsight. It's all funny to me in the end. One of the things that I'm going to highlight, and I'm going to highlight this on a regular basis, we're going to talk about stat leaders. I love stat leaders. You guys know I love talking about the stat leaders. So, and no surprise, William Contreras takes quite a few of these categories. William Contreras is leading right now in batting average at 358, runs at 16. Christian Yelich has got 5 home runs. RBIs, Contreras. Stolen bases, Turing. Turing's got the wheels. Let's talk about that home run category for a second. Talk about each and every player, because that's one of the things. I have always said this, and I will say it again. We live and die by the long ball in Milwaukee. And the veterans are kind of at the top doing it right now. Obviously, you got Christian Yelich, then you got William Contreras, then you got Willie Adames, then young guy Jackson Chourio, and Rhys Hoskins, Perkins. Across the board, we are really, even newcomer Gary Sanchez has one. We'll get more into Gary Sanchez in a while. We won't talk about that on episode 1. We're going to give him a little more leash. You know, there's a lot of people calling for a DFA there. I don't necessarily agree with that. But lots of offense coming. I want to talk about the batting averages too. I think that's another one that needs to be highlighted so far in 2020. Because like I said, we ripped them last year. Everybody ripped them last year. It was just the thing to do. So, of the primary players across the board here, you go to William Contreras 358. You go Bryce Turing at 327. Willy Adames, everybody's favorite guy to rip on, Willy Adames, is batting 308. Same with Sal. If you go to Turio, he is 230. And Rhys Hoskins 228. Kind of tails off a hard bit there. And it's still early in the season. We're still just talking about April baseball, but it's fun to highlight those numbers and look at those numbers across the board. Let's talk about Willy Adames' numbers for a second, because I wanted to mention that. In 17 games, 65 at-bats, 12 runs, 20 hits, 4 doubles, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 10 walks, 14 strikeouts, 1 stolen base. I mean, guy's batting 308, 400 OBP, slugging at 508, and a 908 OPS. Guys, Willy Adames is playing good. Now, is it something that we are going to extend? We don't know. I really don't know that Willy Adames is gonna catch that extension. I don't foresee that happening. But it's good. It's good. It's good to have Willy Adames being Willy Adames and playing good ball. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I'm very excited for just seeing hitting, I guess. Pitching is great, but hitting is wonderful. Many people like today's game, for instance, a game that did not have many hits across the board. I think one of the big pieces of the puzzle is you got to have those games too. And you got to be able to hit yourself out of those situations. In a game where the Brewers mustered 3 hits and the Padres mustered 5 of a shutout, we still managed to get that hit, to get them across, and score a run. Score that 1 run that we needed, and that was all it took today. And that was with a guy that was throwing basically a no-hitter throughout the game. King, who got hit up, was giving up a bunch of home runs already this season. Struck out 10 Brewers today. And we had only 3 strikeouts amongst all of our relievers together. They had 11. So Padres had our number in the series. I believe if we take a look, this is actually the first series loss. Is that correct? Am I correct in saying that? It's a young season though, so let's not hold that. All right, let's take a look. Well, technically we split with the Twins, won the Mariners series, won the Red series. Well, there was a postponed game in the Red series, so I guess we'll call it a win for now. Won the Orioles and lost the first series loss. So even in the series loss, we had a 4-game losing streak going into today. We pulled out a W. We've got the ultra important series against the Cardinals this coming weekend, and I think that's where we're really getting into the meat and potatoes. Tomorrow is an off day for the crew. Take some rest. Hopefully re-rack the bullpen, get them ready to go again. I think we are going to do more live sessions. I've got some stuff booked, some content predetermined. We're going to review some of the notes and things that I talked about I'm just gonna mention this because I found this one funny. So this is from last year's Gus Varland, a breakout reliever. Remember Gus Varland? Yeah, he was the guy that we Rule 5 and then ended up going back to the Dodgers. So another interesting one on this list is Mitchell. Mitchell I had him set to have a breakout season. He did not stay with the Crew. Rowdy is no longer with the Crew. Strzelecki is no longer with the Crew. Owen Miller is still with the Crew. Lauer is no longer with the Crew. Devin Williams is currently injured. This is all just last year's predictions. All of those were failures, except for the Joey Weimer being called up first. That being said, guys, I think we're gonna call this episode an end. We're gonna do maybe 1 to 2 sessions. Just different things here. There's gonna be some short clips, instant reacts when stuff happens, when players like Christian Yelich go on the IL, or when trades or moves are made. I'm gonna try and keep you up to date. Check the channels. Go subscribe over on YouTube. That's the easiest place to get a hold of me. You can go follow me on X. I don't post a lot there yet, but maybe we're gonna start doing live videos. I don't know. We'll see what the 2024 season brings and how deep we get into the baseball season. As always, guys, I am Eric. This is the Miller Park Minute. We throw likes, we get strikes, hit dingers, get listeners. We are back. And we'll see you again tomorrow, guys. Go Brew Crew. What a win today. Predictions. Tomorrow is going to be my updated predictions because I haven't done an updated predictions for the 2024 season. I did one, but obviously a lot has changed since then, and spring training happened and other stuff. So yeah, we're gonna bring it all full circle. Maybe I'll talk about watching baseball, where to watch baseball, how to watch baseball, what's the best deal out there for 2024 baseball watching. I don't know. We'll get into it tomorrow. I'll have more of a script, more of a pattern here. Maybe we'll do some more player highlighting. I don't know. Depends on what tomorrow brings. But as always, I had to get this episode in. I had to get back and chat with you guys. It's been a long, good minute. It's good to be back. So thank you for watching. As always, guys, go Brew Crew. We'll see you tomorrow.